pain. And then you see the world differently.
How do you do that?
You want to do it again, then do it again, but differently and smarter.
Diane T is an entrepreneur, business advisor, and a mentor with a very remarkable view of life. The experience of having escaped death camps 3 times when she was a child shaped your attitude to life and business.
You're forced to take actions just to survive.
Is there any special secret?
I hate politics.
If you don't take care of politics, politics will take care of you.
Fail.
How do you remove emotion?
Step one.
Diane, nice to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Diane, you told us that in 70s you escaped with your family the regime of Pol Pot from Cambodia, and with an imminent threat of death and hunger, and it shaped your worldview, your view on life and entrepreneurship. Did it make you fearless?
Fearless. It's too big of a word from my perspective. I wouldn't say that I'm fearless. However, I definitely have a different relationship to fear. I definitely feel fear.
Yeah.
I think from time to time, like any human being. But I use fear as an asset. And so for instance, to give you an example so that you understand maybe better, I have worked 20 years in the corporate world. And then in 2017, I decided to step out of the corporate world and decided to become independent and build my own business. And suddenly, every decision, every success, every setback as well, rested on my shoulders, solely on my shoulders. So that was, I would say, a bit scary. But because of my past, I realized it, of course, and I decided to myself that, look, you faced worse. You navigated through uncertainty, worse than what you are trying to achieve today, which is okay, in comparison, almost nothing. And you are not dumb. You have a master's degree in computer science. You have acquired lots of skills throughout your 20 years of career. So build on your expertise, build on your experience. Leverage on everything that you have acquired so far. Go out there, build your network, and fetch the opportunities. Don't wait for the opportunity to come your way.
So this is what you told yourself, like go out and do something.
So yes, that's how you combat fear, by being active and not be paralyzed by fear. And I see fear as not as an obstacle, like I said, more as a force, because it's the adrenaline that fuels actions, sharpen your mindset, and it helps you to propel further than what you expected.
I would love to know, because we met each other here and there,
Yes,
in the Lux ecosystem, that we had a wonderful dinner not too long ago during the Chinese New Year's
yes.
celebration or dinner at the China Lux. We talked for hours.
Yeah. It was just, the world stopped. It was just our conversation.
We talked for hours, and it was so touching, because not that many know this chapter in Europe. You know other history chapters way better than, of course, the Cambodian one. But at the same time, I know that also this country, apart from all the hardships it has endured, there's also so much ancient wisdom in the region.
Yes.
So apart from your very personal and touching life story, what are a kind of different approaches that are somehow rooted in this very ancient, very interesting culture?
Yes, so the Cambodian culture is very much rooted into Buddhism, so the Buddhist philosophy, which I call philosophy because to me it's more a philosophy of life rather than a religion, although it's quite interlinked.
Yeah.
So Buddhism, Buddhism teaches impermanence. It teaches balance and also detachment. Detachment from ego. When I say ego, is not your personality, but more of your person. Detachment from material things. And this has definitely shaped the way I view life and the way I do business. And I have noticed, it's not just, I noticed that because I have accompanied and helped many entrepreneurs of startups, but also established companies on different things since I became an entrepreneur myself. And what I have noticed is that the most successful entrepreneurs are those who have embraced this wisdom, and realized that things are impermanent. Nothing stays the same. Things evolve. Without knowing it, I don't think they are Buddhist, but without knowing it, they embraced all this wisdom. And why are they successful? Why? Realizing that things are impermanent, things evolve, actually helps them to better take decisions and better evolve at the same time as the market, because the market evolves at the speed, at the pace that is amazing. And if you don't follow that pace, you get lost as an entrepreneur, especially as an entrepreneur, someone who builds a business. So this is one thing. The second thing, it helps them to also. So when I say detach themselves from things, from a title, from power, because many entrepreneurs are very much hanging on tightly to their power as a leader, as a founder. And unfortunately, as your business grows, you need to delegate power. You need to delegate responsibilities to the right team, of course, but you need to delegate so that you can free up time to focus on what really matters for you, which is to keep growing, to think about the strategic direction of your company and think about the future for your company.
But how would you teach a grown-up person detachment? Because detachment is important, right? Because it doesn't concentrate you to me. You are not that attached to your result, right? So it lets you be a bit relaxed, right? So I mean, for you who learned it as a child, how did you learn it? Basically, it's very hard for a grown-up person to understand the concept.
There's no cookbook, right? To be honest, of Buddhism, there's no cookbook on anything. I wouldn't say that my parents, intentionally taught me about impermanence, about detachment. I think it's about realizing certain things. Of course, as a child, you don't understand. There are a lot of things you don't understand. There are a lot of things you discover. And with experience, with time, with more maturity, there are certain things you realize. And when you realize, that's the beginning, the genesis of solutions. So to the entrepreneurs I coach, I don't teach them. I make them realize on certain things, building on my own experience. That hanging on too tightly on something, so the strong attachment on something, power, title, or whatsoever, on an idea that they loved so much that they have so much difficulties to let go and adapt to the market, the evolution of the market. I try to make them realize, and I think when they realize, this is when they start to change things. They start to find solutions. So it's all about realization.
There's, I don't know the statistics, less female entrepreneurship in Luxembourg than male entrepreneurship. So What would you give as a good advice to have more successful female founders in the Grand Duchy and beyond? Is there any special secret?
In our society, what I have observed, and the women, in order to, let's say, place them at the same level of competence, of whatever, as men, they try to they try to hide their femininity. They try to act as men. They try to embrace masculine traits, which is wrong. We are all different. Nature has made us different. Men and women are different, and we have our strength, and we should use this strength to our advantage.
But don't you think it's cultural? Because for me, coming from Eastern Europe, this is the same observation I made in Western Europe, right? But I combine it with the fact that in Eastern Europe, we have already generations of women leaders, and we have these role models that women could see how you act and what you do as a female leader. And in Western Europe, it's probably not like this.
Maybe it's also connected to the hardship you are going through. I would say the life is harder in Eastern Europe than in Western Europe. Life is harder in Asia, or especially Southeast Asia, than in the Western world. So when you are forced to do certain things, you're forced to take actions just to survive, just to be able to feed your kids. You definitely see life differently. As a woman, men, women, it doesn't really matter. And children then would dare to do more things, maybe. I mean, I think this is one of the differences. It depends on the hardship people go through, and this is what I try to teach my own children. I'm cognizant that they live in a bubble. In Luxembourg, especially in Luxembourg, it's a wealthy environment.
Yeah.
They have everything they need, and more than everything they need. They live in luxury. All of us live in luxury. And I try to make sure that they understand that life isn't made of luxury. Life is tough. And even if you live in Luxembourg, if you want to be successful, you need to do hard work. You need to do meaningful work. You need to take actions. Things don't come naturally to you without hard work, determination.
But I just thought about what you told us before when you came back, when you came to France as a child from Cambodia, you wanted to take revenge on life. All right?
Yes.
And so you needed to work hard to show everyone that you're strong, that you can do things better than people who are already there, right?
Taking revenge in the sense that because I had nothing, because when I say nothing, is literally nothing. Taking the revenge was about getting out of poverty, not comparing myself to my friends at that time who never knew about hardship, who lived a very comfortable life. Nothing about that. It was nothing about that. It was more personal, to get out of poverty.
Just imagine. I think Tatiana, we can agree. We had a hard time when we had the prep meeting with you because we don't really fully comprehend what poverty means. I have some stories from my grandparents, but still.
I have some experience.
Yeah, but also,
unfortunately, yeah.
Diane, and as a guest, what moved me the most, just to get this glimpse of a clue what it has meant for you, was I can say that, your brother.
Oh yes, yes.
So that if
he's a fighter.
He's a fighter, but you told us that he could barely walk.
Yes,
at the age of 4.
Yeah, he was born 10 days. 10 days before the civil war, before Pol Pot, the Pol Pot regime took over. and they place everyone in the concentration camps with forced labor, without barely anything to eat. And definitely, as a child being born at that time, you had nothing, no milk. You suffered malnutrition. So my brother, at the age of 4, and you remember very well, was not able to walk. Whereas as a normal child, you walk as from the age of 12 months. At 4, he wasn't able to walk, and he had a belly, of this big belly, of malnutrition, reflective of malnutrition. So, and as a mother, whenever I think about that, it gives me goosebumps thinking that your children could suffer from malnutrition. But he's been a fighter, and he's living a good life with a family and children, and he's happy. He's a technical lead for one of the major French companies in France. So I'm very proud of him. I think it's important to me as well to share about my story, because if it can inspire people to take action and to understand that you have only one life. If you have dreams, go for them, chase them. Of course, not every dream is realizable or can be realized. But at least try, so that you, on your deathbed, you don't have any regrets.
Yeah. And this is what I actually wanted to ask you. So basically, I think there are young entrepreneurs who are watching us now, and there are many of them probably who grew up not in the country where they were born. They probably moved, and now they are trying to prove the world that they are worthy. What would you tell these people now? What would you tell these young people now?
I would tell these young people that I fully understand the feeling of needing to prove your worth, because you land in a new environment where you feel being an outsider, and you want to get validation on your presence. You want to show that you belong. The sense of belonging is so important, and I understand that feeling. So now my advice, because I've gone through that, my advice to these young entrepreneurs setting up a business in a new country, don't chase external validation. You will see that with accomplishments, everything will flow naturally to you. Focus on growing yourself, on building yourself, because your skills, your knowledge, your character will actually determine who you are and lead to recognition.
Could you share with us some of your flops?
Some, so many.
Let's bring it on.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to maybe share 2 examples. One related to a flop that is still haunting me and which I have difficulties to swallow. It's the bankruptcy of a startup, or not even a startup, a scale-up that I have invested in, and which I truly believed in. I believed in the venture, I believed in the ideas, I believed in the successes, I believed in the potentials, and I believed in the founders completely. And on top of this, to me, it had all the potentials, all the key to succeed, because major personalities invested in this venture. Yeah. But with the pandemic, they didn't survive the pandemic and didn't survive subsequently to the conflict, the Ukrainian and Russian conflict. So they filed for bankruptcy a year later.
It's mostly driven by external shocks.
Yeah, that's
pandemic, or like
they could have, to me, they could have somehow avoided them, or avoided the bankruptcy. Of course, everybody, a lot of businesses suffered from the pandemic and subsequently to the Ukrainian and Russian conflict. Definitely, we suffered from it as well. But as a business, and this is what I'm coaching my entrepreneurs, they could have foreseen certain risk. They could have built a risk management, a better risk management, so that it would have helped them to navigate through this crisis. This is what I think. I think nobody saw what was coming our way after the pandemic. My goodness, we were miles away to think about this. But those who survived, the businesses who survived, or those who had built a very strong risk management, crisis management,
has sparked all of the stories I heard from other business owners. It has sparked utter creativity.
Yeah,
we talked about, or I talked about fallback options. If there's none, of course, you're more or less forced. Either I make it somehow. I've seen so many inspiring examples.
Yeah,
and those succeeded.
Yes. So there are many failures, but there are many companies who succeeded and went through, navigated these crises splendidly.
But it's about also working in uncertainty, right? It's because nobody could predict, right? COVID, but a lot of people could, or some people coming from different parts of the world already had experience of living in uncertain times. Right?
This is a good point. Yes. Not everybody react well, in face of crisis. Not everybody. And those who adapt well in these situations are those who come out successful. So yes, this is a very good point.
So basically now people who can adapt themselves to crisis situations are very valuable asset to companies nowadays everywhere in the world, right? Because we're living now
a valuable job.
Very uncertain world.
And then now the second flop, which is, I would say, more general, more personal. It's my ignorance of my ignorance of politics. I've learned it was not so much a flop, more a hard lesson that I had to learn. It was politics, navigating politics. I hate politics. I'm someone who prefer, things to be pragmatic, efficient, straightforward. At the beginning, I naively thought that, if you do hard work, you bring value, you act with integrity, everything, would fall into place.
You know this proverb, if you don't take care of politics, politics will take care of you.
Exactly.
So they spoil it more or less.
Oh, yes, completely. Politics, unfortunately, exists everywhere. Political people as well. And then I came to realize that many years ago that navigating human dynamics is as important as delivering results. And yes, and still today I need to make a conscious effort about politics, because it's not something natural. I don't value, taking decision based on political
agenda,
because it's politically advantageous to myself.
Different DNA.
Yeah, I have a different DNA, but that's the reason why I need to make a conscious decision that, yes, I need to navigate this.
So we will not have examples here.
Just watch television every evening, so there you have it.
But how do you deal with setbacks and failures? Your example at the beginning, that when you started your business and you didn't know anyone, it's basically more or less a lot of entrepreneurs face, right? Did you have any other setbacks during your entrepreneurial journey?
It comes again to the Buddhism philosophy. which is everything is impermanent. So things evolve as with life, with etc. So it means that setbacks and failures, it applies to them as well. It's just temporary state. So don't take it. Yes, it's personal always. I cannot say don't take it personally, but don't take it with emotions. You cannot avoid having bad emotions at the beginning, but be sure to get out of them, to acknowledge them definitely, but get out of them and make a conscious effort to move them away so that you can take the best decision possible on solutions, on a way forward. Learn from your failures and your setbacks. Why did it fail? Why did I have a setback? Was it me, my strategy, my execution, or was it external factors? Then if it is external factors, there are things that I cannot control, but how could I have maybe foreseen them somehow? Because normally in life, things repeat themselves. How could I maybe build a plan B, like you said, a fallback plan, a crisis plan, etc. Things like that. But in order to be able to do this, you need to remove all the emotions.
How do you do that? How do you remove emotion? Yes, it's a valid question, right? A lot of people, including me, learning to do that in a hard way.
It sounds so obvious, but it's not.
No, it's not. It's not obvious. I can tell you, it's not obvious. Yeah. You need to survive anyway. You need to get out.
Do you have some routine? Like step one, I don't know, I meditate, I switch off, I switch my telephone.
Step one, don't ignore your emotions. I mean, feeling down and low because you failed, it's normal. Because someone said something negative about you, it's normal. You're a human being. Step one, acknowledge your emotions. Take one day, one night, go and walk in the forest to, free up your mind, whatever. Step two, I don't know how much time there is between step one and step two. It depends on the person. Yeah. But with training, with time, experience, normally you shorten that. Step two, make a conscious decision or to wanting to do something.
To move
on, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures. What went wrong? Why could I have done differently? Learn from it so that you can move on. And if you move on, step three, you want to do it again, then do it again, but differently and smarter, based on what you have learned. And like I said, the time lapse between step one, step two, and step three, I don't know. It really depends on the person.
So exercise, and then you become better in that.
Fail.
So here we have a playbook, more or less, for free. Yeah? 3 steps.
Yeah, that's amazing. Fail.
It sounds so easy, when you talk about it. But believe me, I've also learned it, the hard way. I mean, it's even today. I mean, no, nothing is easy. Life is not easy. Life is an eternal fight or combat, like we say in French.
It is.
And it's a bumpy road. You cannot avoid that. So you should better be prepared so that you can get above the challenges. And sometimes the challenges are inner barriers. And this is the toughest, I would say, challenges to overcome, your inner barrier. So at the minute you realize that, it all depends on you. You break your inner barrier and you can move on.
Did you have this moment in your life when you realized that it's your inner barriers that preventing you from something?
Oh, yes. I would say it comes with age, with maturity. So that ties to what we said about the young people, the young immigrants. It's all the same, yeah. This wisdom, or however you call it, comes with experience and maturity. So I realized it in my mid-30s.
That's
Mid-30s,
a good
quite
reference.
late.
Same for me. Same for me.
Same for
And
you.
it accelerates.
And then
over the years.
exactly, and then at the minute you realize exactly this is exactly what I went through. So then at the minute you realize it accelerates, and then you see the world differently.
Wow.
Wow.
That's cool. What advice can you give to people who just starting their business or want to start their business?
Be adaptive. Have your vision clear, but be adaptive. Pivot if you need to, because the market evolves, so you have to evolve as well. Do your research. Understand the market, understand your competition, understand where you can fit, where your venture, your ideas can fit into the market, and how you can stand out of the crowd if it is a crowded market. What is your narrative that would differentiate you from the others, so that it increases your potential to succeed. Build a strong network. Building a network that will support you in the long term is crucial to your success.
Is it true that if you are just 40% ready with your venture, work on your business plan? If you're kind of 7% ready, 80% ready, go for it and improve along the way?
Yes. This is my philosophy. Don't wait things to be perfect to launch it. And I think this is a problem.
Perfection is a killer of many plans.
Exactly. Perfection is a killer of many plans, and especially a trait that is pertaining to women. Especially women have this problem of perfection.
Yes.
And
I know some men.
Don't wait for things to be perfect.
And now the last question. Can you share with us 3 key lessons you learned in your life?
So I'd like to share, very important, my motto I live by since I became an entrepreneur. Be brave, be bold, be bright, because I believe that brave initiatives with bold actions lead to a bright future. But always think smart. Whatever risk you take, bold risk you take, be smart and calculated. Be authentic. I think Carlo in the previous episode
previous guest
about this as well, because when you're true to yourself, you're true to your values, people trust you. You build trust, and trust is the key of a lot of things. And the third, you're asking for third, there's so many things.
If you're okay, we can live with 2.
And 2.
We have heard so much great things.
Thank you so much for coming on the interview.
Amazing.
It was fun.
Thank you for this lively and enjoyable session. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching our podcast. If you like it, please press like and subscribe, because YouTube algorithm will understand that our conversation was interesting and will try to show you as many people as possible.